Hello? Okay, the audio works now. Hello? It's just taking time to catch up on my phone. Hello? Yeah. Okay. We're good. I was talking about my hair. I don't know why this happens, why the audio gets a bit weird and then it comes back on. But alas, thank God it's working eventually, right? Thank God, thank God. Oh, we'll give it a moment. Un momento. Shall I continue talking about my hair? There's a trick, especially if you're a woman. If you don't want to be washing your hair so often, but you want it to look fresh, just wash the front bits, right? So what I did was I got kind of these bits here, and then you just wash them with shampoo, and then you dry them, and then boom, your hair looks fresh. Oh, it just got too wavy and bouncy that I have to, control it. But upload it to my videos. Okay, cool. I wanted to talk about perspective and perception because this is something that I saw a video, right? There was this guy talking about the nature of God and the truth, which is something we talk about all the time on my lives, on my channel, right? About living with the truth, and I'd like to believe that is the main reason why I have this channel. I want people to know the truth. And everyone always asks me, what is the truth? What is the truth? Well, the truth is that you are God in disguise, that you are God having a human experience. Hey Cipriano. So you are God having a human experience. And the ego exists, right? The ego is there to help you have a individual experience. So you have your whole self, right? So we'll say this. Okay. Let me draw it out. This is Priya. This is me. Okay. And God, I'm gonna draw like this because God isn't a being. God isn't a man in the sky. God is energy. It's consciousness. It's intelligence. It's awareness. God, me, which you could say is light as well, right? Wanted to have a human experience. It wanted to be separate. It wanted to know what it feels like to be separate, to not know that it is God. So it was like, okay, let me have a human experience. Let me be Priya. Priya, the ego, right? Priya, the ego, the story, the character that God is playing, has forgotten that she is one with God, that she is God, disguised as a human being. Because your your awareness isn't in your body is appearing in awareness. Okay? So your awareness consciousness is all around you. It's everywhere. Everywhere. There's no way you can look. Why is this pen being weird? There's no way you look where God isn't. So, when people say, oh my God, where's God? Does God even exist? Do we have to go in the jungle to find God? Do I have to go in the mountains? Do I have to go under the water? Do I have to go to church? Do I have to go to this priest? Do I have to go to this person? No. God is literally who you are. God is everywhere, right? But you don't have that awareness oftentimes because you are stuck in the ego, aka the mind. The mind will never understand intellectually what it means to be God. And you must think, hey Keshav, how are you? The ego will never grasp the idea that yes, I am God, because its whole point, its whole function is to be individual, right? It's to be separate from God. So how is it that something that is designed to feel separation at all times, how can it understand that it's not separate? That's the thing. That's why, you know, when it comes to understanding the nature of God, you have to go beyond the mind. You have to go beyond the ego. You have to go beyond your thoughts and your emotions, and then you can know God. You can't understand God, you can only know God. Because to understand would mean to convince the ego and the mind will always have doubts. That's its nature, right? It's designed to be separate, it's designed to forget its true nature. This is why when you live with your true nature, anything is possible. You know, recently, yesterday, in fact, I watched a movie, Split. I don't know if you guys have seen Split, but it came out a few years ago. It is about this individual who has DID. So, what does that stand for? He has multiple personalities. Multiple personality disorder? Is that what it's called? I don't know. But it's where you have multiple personalities, right? He had 23 to be exact, different ones. And I want to go into this. So, in one way, from a psychological point of view, the way that this occurs is that we have different parts to us within our being, right? Within our psyche. So these can occur in a way to protect us. So if we look at Split, what you see is that his name was Kevin Crumb, Kevin something Crumb, right? That was his real name. But he had many identities who had different names. So Kevin, when he was younger, when he was about 3, he grew up in a household where his mother was incredibly abusive to him. So this made him develop these different personalities. These different identities came out as a way to protect him. For example, one of them is Kevin, right? So Kevin is a personality that likes to, that is very stern and strict and has OCD, as a developed OCD, you know? So Kevin developed OCD, which eventually formed its own identity because as a way to prevent his mom from abusing him. Because if he didn't make a mess, his mom wouldn't abuse him. We have that within us. There's a book called No Bad Parts. And hey, girl, No Bad Parts talks about the system called internal family system. This guy was a counselor or a therapist, okay? And he had this girl come to him and she would cut herself. She would self harm and she wanted to stop. And it was impossible to make her stop. He tried everything to make her stop. The thing is, what happened is he went on to realize that there are many different parts in that girl. And one of those parts self harms as a way to protect her from all the pain. So this girl had experienced so much trauma and had so much repressed and suppressed pain within her being that her body decided to self harm as a way to self soothe. As in, let me just cause myself this pain because feeling this pain, which is very small in comparison to the huge pain that I'm carrying around, will help me. I'm protecting myself because if I allowed myself, if the body allowed you to feel all the pain that is stuck in your body, you would probably die because it is so intense. So, what the body does is it develops protective mechanisms, defensive mechanisms to protect you. So, this is why you wake up and you say, oh, I want to eat healthily today. I want to go to the gym today. I don't want to run back to my ex. I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. There is a part of you that realizes that this is not okay for me. But then what happens? You go about your day, and before you know it, you've not gone to the gym, you've had a big English breakfast, you've texted your ex, and and you're just having negative thoughts. And then later on, when you have that awareness again and you say, why did I do that? Who is that in me that keeps acting like this? Bonjour, ça va? I thought about this, how you speak about this. What do you mean? I don't understand. So yeah, you question yourself. You get mad at yourself. Why did I do this? I said I would do differently. I said I would act differently. But I didn't. And you know why? It's because there are different parts of you. For example, myself. I always talk about how I used to smoke weed, okay? I had an addiction to weed. I would wake up and say, today I'm not smoking. Today's the day I quit. Today's the day I quit. Today's the day I quit. And what would happen? In the afternoon, before you know it, I've smoked weed, you know? And I would get so mad at myself. So mad at myself because what it created was a disparity. It created two, like there were two. There was a Priya that said no, that understood that this wasn't good for her, right? That she was abusing it. And there was a Priya that was like, I don't care, I'm gonna have it, and wouldn't even stop to think. She would just take it, she would just smoke, right? And we all have that. We all have different parts of us, different parts from when we were a child, from when we were a teenager, protecting us, right? This part that loved to smoke weed was a part that loved to self soothe, that didn't know how else to self soothe. So she thought that smoking weed will help her self soothe. And what this does, it creates separation in your being, in your psyche. And in the movie Split, which is what I'm talking about, right? His his different identities, 23 of them, they had grown so separate that they took on a life of their own. Why am I talking about this? I will answer the comments. Why am I talking about this? Because there was something really profound in the movie that I watched. The character, Kevin, that that's his main identity, that's who he was born as. He goes to he goes to his doctor, right? His therapist. And his therapist talks about how people with multiple personality disorder, their different personalities can be vastly different. So different that one identity could have diabetes, the other could be blind. There was a story that she told where this lady had been blind for years, but one of her other identities that she had, her multiple personality disorder, so one of her identities could see. So then her optic nerves regenerated, and then her other identity could see. This goes to show you the power that we have. And in the movie, they talk about the power that we have as humans, but it's not power as humans, because the idea of a human can be very limited. We're more than human. We're spiritual beings. We are God in disguise. So I believe that everything in that movie that they showed is real. It's possible, right? You can do amazing things when you live from the truth, when you have an understanding of the truth, which is your God in disguise. God can do anything. God is unlimited. The point of this live is to talk about perception. What perception do you live from? What is the truth of your being, of your life? Who are you? I always bring it down to who are you, who are you, who are you? When manifesting, first think about who you are. Are you manifesting as some measly, um, un, uh, unpowerful, is that a word? Unpowerful being? Or are you manifesting as God? Are you the creator or are you a victim? Are you powerless? The thing is, you will try to convince your ego, no, I can manifest this. I can manifest my SP. I can manifest my dream house, my dream life, my dream car. But the ego will always question it. It will always have doubt, and that's okay. That's its job. Of course, it's built to be separate, to think that it is small. So, are you playing from your small self in this game of life, or are you playing from your big self, from your God self in this life? That changes everything. I have people who come on the live, right, and they say, oh, is this possible? Is this possible? I'm telling you, everything is possible. I don't rule anything out. Nada. Nothing is impossible to me. In fact, the word impossible is I'm possible. Okay, do you even believe that Jesus Christ is alive, even now as a spirit being in the third heaven? Um, Alive as in human. Alive usually means are they in human form, right? But no, probably not in human form. But I mean, it could be. I don't know. Who am I to say? Anything is possible. But alive, as in, the thing is, Cipriano, nothing ever dies. The human body dissolves, right? Diminishes. But the soul, which is infinite, is always there. So, of course, Jesus, the presence, the being, is still present always. But Jesus wanted you to know that you can be like Jesus too. He didn't want to be worshipped. He wanted to be understood. He wanted you to listen to what he's saying. We don't listen to what he's saying. We just bow down to him, thinking that he's separate from us, but he's not. We're one with him. You know? Hey Vaibhav, namaskar. How are you? Am I Muslim? I am not Muslim. No. I'm just consciousness disguised as God. Prison planet theory is true. I don't know. I don't know what that theory is. You're gonna have to tell me. But yeah, some people have a very limited perception, right? That's because you can tell what someone is functioning from. The wider and the more expansive their sense of possibility, the more they're connected to their God self. The smaller their pool of possibilities, the more they are in their ego. Let's draw that out. Yeah, let's draw the ego as a circle. Just okay. I'm good, P. How are you? Oh, that's so cute. What's the mood and topic for today? Okay, good. I'm glad you're well. I'm well too. The topic and the mood for today is perception. About kind of what we talk about, but I guess I'm taking a different stance on it a little bit. I watched this video of this guy and he was talking about the perception you share and about the ego and how the ego will always doubt. Okay, someone will come along and tell you, oh, you can manifest anything you want, you can be the queen, you can be this, you can be that. And then if you are connected to the ego, right, if you're very rooted in the ego, you will say, no, that's not possible, because the ego is separate from the whole self. Okay, this is the whole self, this is God, let's just say. Okay, wait, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, God. Okay, so let's say God. God is everywhere, okay? Even the ego, like, that's in God, right? God is literally everywhere. So, the ego, God wanted to have it wanted to have an experience of separation. It wanted to see itself. So, how can one see itself? It can see itself if there's a separation that exists, right? So, God created a divine mechanism called the ego. The ego is like, it's just me. It's just Priya. I'm Priya. I'm Priya. You're you, right? I'm here. You're over there. Um. All right. Well, with the camera. Well, thank you. It's a talent that I've developed. We are capable of learning anything, and you can learn this too. Okay. That's in a non-condescending way. That's very in line with what I'm talking about, actually, that we're capable of anything. But if you're rooted in the ego will be like, oh no, I can do that. I can't do that. I can't manifest £1,000,000 right now without working. I can't manifest the person of my dreams, the car of my dreams, the home of my dreams. I can't manifest being taller or having longer arms or having really long hair right now. Right? The ego thinks that because the ego's job is to question things, it's to doubt. The mind's job is to question things. So when people try to understand God, they try to understand God intellectually and it's not working. That's why they give up. They claim that there is no God. Well, the thing is, the mind will never know. Um uh it can never really know God. God is a knowing, and the mind doesn't understand because the mind only knows separation. So you have to see things from a different perspective. That's why I always say identify as the prior condition. God is the prior condition to before Priya. Priya didn't exist. Okay, what exists beyond Priya? You don't just see Priya, because right now you're seeing Priya, but if we zoomed into Priya, right? We zoomed into my body, into my hands, for example, what would you see? You'd see atoms, right? You go deeper, what do you see? You see energy. You see energy vibrating. So if we put a picture, if we take a snapshot of energy vibrating and me, could you say that the energy vibrating is Priya? Could you discern that it's Priya? You probably couldn't, right? So therefore, I look like Priya, I may sound like Priya, but I'm actually not Priya. And the moment you can look around at life and understand, okay, yeah, this looks like a phone right now, okay? This looks like a pen, but it's not really a pen. At its core, it's energy vibrating. Then things change. Then your perception changes. Then you don't see things as so rigid anymore. Your perception isn't so limited. And then what's possible for you in your life is unlimited. Hey Greg. So true, the mind's construct is made for keeping souls in boundaries. Exactly. And I'm glad it wasn't condescending. um so yeah, the ego is never gonna get it. Could you think of a more fun game? Oh, you've been here. Oh, it's good. I only know when some activity takes place, and then I know he's present. um what was I saying? So yeah, it's because what sparked this is I I know sometimes, like, I guess it came to mind that at times people question if things are possible. Like I said, I don't question if anything's possible. I think everybody is possible. I think if you lived life understanding that the multiverse is the truth, right? In a sense, like, um the fact that anything could happen. That the show that I was watching, Undone, on Amazon Prime. Oh my god. If you watch that, you will understand what I'm talking about. It's such a beautiful way to visualize and to see someone's creation, right? Someone's outside of the box thinking. Um you would say futuristic thinking, but it's not futuristic. Maybe it is, in comparison to the fact that the general status quo is that people may not think like this. Um, if you approach someone and you spoke about how the multiverse is actually a thing, and anything is possible. Like, I could grow a third arm if I wanted. I could have a leg that was taller than the other leg, right? I could shrink myself if I wanted to. I could. The thing is, the ego will question that. But like I said, in the movie Split, she was talking about how one identity in this woman who had been blind for years, she could see because she believed she could see. So your beliefs have such a profound impact on you, on your being. And this is backed up by the the Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, the book. I've spoken about this book. He spoke about DNA and how we believe in a rigid kind of structure. We believe that, okay, you're genetically predetermined to be a psychopath, to be angry, to be smart, to be like this, and that's the only way. There's no other way. But what Bruce Lipton proposes in his book is that he says, yes, you may have the DNA, but whether those genes are turned on is determined by your environment. And your environment wouldn't just be the things outside of you, but your environment would be your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, right? These form your environment. They are the environment in which your consciousness resides, right? Your consciousness is they are in your consciousness. So they're impacting your consciousness. And the thing is, look, you're very powerful, okay? You're incredibly powerful. You have been creating your life for the whole time. It's not a new thing. Manifestation is not a new thing. Creation is not a new thing. You've been doing it this whole time. I believe Jesus went to heaven with the same human body he rose with. Where is heaven? Where is this heaven that you speak of? After the resurrection, he had flesh and bones, showed his wounds, and even ate with his disciples. See, the thing is, look, when we talk about Christianity and different stories, parables from the Bible, they're very symbolic. They're not to be taken literally. They have deeper meanings, but the layman will not understand that. You have to really dig deep, you know? And I am wonderful, thank you for asking. I had a client the other day and it was funny. I was half of me was like, why do I do this? But it was okay. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, so what was happening? He was telling me, he was like, this is wrong and this is wrong and this sucks and this sucks and this sucks and this sucks and people suck and my life sucks. And I'm looking at him, right? And I'm listening to him. And then I just said, okay, is this the truth? Is your perspective the truth? Do these people 100% suck? Is it fact that they suck? Is it a fact that your life sucks? Is your perspective the true one? Is it the only one that exists? Are there other ways to look at this thing? Because this is the thing that I always say, right? It's not about what's happening, it's about how you see it. Okay? Let me give you an example. When I was in school, right, in secondary school, this lady came in and she was trying to put us off drugs, right? She's like, "Don't take drugs. Look, these are what different drugs look like. Um, Here are these beer goggles. So there were these glasses that make you see as if you were drunk. And I put them on. And first of all, before putting them on, I was like, I'll be fine. I'm gonna be able to see. I got this. I put them on and I am so dizzy. I'm falling. It's so weird. I can't see anything. I'm losing my balance. And some people see through those beer goggles. They don't have to put them on. They don't have to be drunk. They have to be asleep. And they see through those. Other people have them off and they can see life, okay? They can see with clarity. They can see the possibilities. They can see from different angles. Does that make sense? So it's not about what's in front of you, it's how you see it. So I said to him, if you listen back to how you just spoke to me, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, what would you say to yourself? Like, how do you think you sound? What do you think your attitude to life is like right now? Because I don't care what's going on, okay? I'll be really, I was like, I'll be straight with you. I don't care what's going on. Your attitude is not okay. It's your attitude that's a problem. It's always our attitude that's a problem. Life is fine. There are people, and the thing is, look, I'm not trying to diminish anything or any situation anyone is going through, but I'm gonna say something that will help you, okay? Because remaining in a victim mindset is not helping you. Anybody can be a victim. It doesn't take special qualifications. I could be a victim right now. I could sit here and list out every bad thing that's happened to me, okay? And the list would be endless. Just as if I sat here and I mentioned every amazing thing that happened to me, that list would be endless too. So, what list are you writing? That's what I asked him. I said, "You come here, you have the same problem every single time, and you say, oh, Priya, when I talk to you, I feel better. I feel like really energized, and then I go back and I feel the same." I said, "Yeah, it's because you don't change. You're not doing anything. You're not changing your attitude. How much can I do if you're not doing something?" Does that make sense? Okay. They say consciousness is the source and attention is its tool. Wow. When the attention is drawn back on itself, everything else ceases to exist. It's the truth. Sat. I'm well. You hate Jesus? Why? You talk like you personally know. That's so funny. Your words are speaking to me. Yay, I'm glad. So if you put those glasses on when you're actually drunk, do they cancel out the drunkenness? Probably not. They probably make it worse. I'm giving all my positive energy as well as I'm taking it too. That's life, isn't it? Give and take. A lot of bad attitudes. You're so pretty. Can't focus on what you're saying. You gotta try harder. I suffered a lot. Oh, interesting. Okay, I see a story coming up. I suffered a lot. That's a personal story, right? We're full of stories. That's the ego. That's how the ego understands that I'm separate from people. Memories, stories, everything you repeat to yourself is a story. Every memory is a story. Oh, when I was, I've suffered a lot. When I was this, and this is by no means, I'm not mocking you. I just want you to hear back. Okay, I'm being a mirror, but if you take offense, that's also, you're allowed to do that. Okay, you have free will. Because this is a story of many people, right? I've suffered a lot. I've been through a lot. This happened when I was this age. This happened when I was this age. A cat bit me when I was like 7, and I've just never liked cats. I just think they're demonic. Oh my god, yeah. It rained once on me so badly I slipped and I cracked my neck, and now I hate the rain. I think the rain is out to get me. I know these are comical. Of course, people, other things happen. Like someone, I don't know, abused me or whatever. I get that. But why are we continuing to recall those stories in the now? Why are they relevant now? And if they're coming up, you need to release them. They need to be gone because these stories hold you back in the past. And I understand that the past exists now, but you're living from way back, from experiences that happened ages ago. You're not even here. You're wearing beer goggles and you can't see properly. You're wearing past beer goggles, okay? Let's just call it that. I'm gonna have to copyright some sort of name for this. When I come up with it, I'll tell you. No, you're not diminishing anything. It's what a lot of people really need to understand. Perception isn't always reality. Exactly. It's disappointing that people try to bring people down and hurt them. People do that because they feel down. I don't feel down, and I'm not hurting right now. So this is why you don't see me coming here trying to do that to other people. I can only give you what I already have. People only ever give you what they have. If someone only has pain and anger, they can only give you that. So don't take it personally. Protect your energy, but don't take it personally. It's not about you. I saw the real power of manifestation and how the sounds and energy works. Just realized how I face that much energy. Therefore, you hate Jesus. Very sad of you. You don't know how you brought Jesus. He's the king. How can I reach enlightenment? How can you reach enlightenment? Realize that you're already enlightened. It's not a place to reach. It's an unbecoming. It's an unraveling. Look, God, if enlightenment would be I'm one with God. So how do you become one with God? You realize that you already are God, that the ego exists to make you feel like you're separate from that. So most people, right, who are not working on their, I guess, spiritual practices, they live here. It's me. I'm Priya. I'm this age. I live here. I like this. I like this. I suffered from this. I did this. I have achieved this. I want to do this. This is the story of Priya. Pardon me. You know, um, she can never be God. As long as Priya exists, there can never be God. And as soon as Priya diminishes, as soon as Priya goes, enlightenment. Yeah. So, okay, the mind will not become enlightened because the mind is not capable of becoming enlightened, right? You have to go beyond the mind, and enlightenment already exists there. Sometimes why is this so far? I'm like reaching. Okay, it's kind of bent. Okay, cool. Let's a clip here. No. Okay, cool. So sometimes I feel like I don't deserve to belong in this world. Interesting. It's really interesting, Torah, for you. the things you say, you mention things you hate, which is interesting. Um, it's kind of in line, right? Another thing that I spoke to my client about was language. By the things, by the words you use, I can tell a lot. I can tell a lot about you and how your attitude is and how you're probably feeling. Because if you're someone who likes to talk about the things they hate, right? You meet those people who are like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. That's very ego. You're in your ego. You're not with God. Because I'm not saying sit there and talk about how much you love. Well, I mean, if you sat there and talked about how much you love things, it shows you're full of love. If you sit and talk about how you hate things, you're full of hate, right? So, I said to him, you use words like people suck, I hate this sucks, and people are trying to be like this, people are rude, people can't be trusted. I said, listen to yourself, listen to the way you speak. It tells you everything. So when we change the things we speak about, the words that we use, it makes a huge change in our lives. So you don't feel like you deserve to belong in this world. Well, that's your ego, because you deserve to be in this world. Why wouldn't you? The thing is, you don't have to do anything to deserve to be worthy. You just are. You just are. It's like a baby. A baby doesn't have a Nobel Peace Prize. A baby doesn't have degrees. A baby doesn't have anything. Let's just say it's not even cute, okay? Let's say the baby's not cute. The baby's still important. Okay? And you're like that baby. But even if you're feeling down, what's the logic in doing it upon others along with that? The thing is, look, they don't do it a lot of times consciously, they do it unconsciously. They're so stuck in their pain that they don't see the truth. They don't see beyond themselves. They don't see the impact they have on other people. Because they're so clouded. It's beer goggles. They have beer goggles. And the beer represents anger, it represents pain and sadness, and it clouds their judgment. You know? If everyone achieves enlightenment, what does this world look like? This world looks freaking amazing. That's what it looks like if everybody achieves enlightenment. We're all just gonna be one big happy family because we're all just one. We're gonna be thriving, we're gonna be happy, we're gonna be healthy, we're gonna be abundant, we're gonna be limitless, we're gonna be infinite. We're not gonna be doing petty things like, oh, just like singing together. Okay, I mean that's not petty. We're gonna be doing wild things, okay? You'll be doing everything and anything because you're God. God can do anything. God can grow a pineapple as a third arm, okay? God can, I don't know, grow mango. I don't know. I was just thinking about fruit. I don't know why. Anything. Anything is possible. Okay, let me ask you, when you do your coaching sessions with people, do you bring the ideas of ego and oneness with God to the sessions? Did I bring the ego? It depends. Sometimes, yeah. The thing is, I am someone like these things that I talk about. These are one with me, right? These are truths, and I hold them close to my heart. I like to live life through that way. So when I coach, it depends. I may not put it down as those words, but sometimes, yeah. Let me think of the last one that I had. Yeah, I mean, I did remind him. I said I didn't want to say oneness with God just in case it was just too much for him, but I always remind him that, you are the creator in your life. He told me about something. He said that I don't know if I want to go into too much personal detail. There was something that he was thinking about and it manifested for him, and it was something that was really rare to happen. But I said to him, look, it's not random. You created it. You were playful. You were like, oh, I wonder if that would happen. And it happened. So you did it. So everything else, these people that suck, these people that you can't trust, this life that you're living that you're not happy with, you are also attracting this. So change yourself, change your attitude, and then your life will change. But that's a good question. Thank you. Should be work your way out of the situation, better yourself, not others. Like that's what it's about. It's true. The thing is, I get it. There's always things that we could be doing, that we should be doing, right? But everybody's on their own path, and what we can do is mind our own business. We're happier that way. They're not our business. Let them be. Let them do whatever they want. If it comes to you and they're trying to disrespect you or do something to you, draw your boundaries. Other than that, let them be. What am I gonna do? Sit here and think about every single, not that I'm saying you do that, but just as a point, I don't sit there and think about how different people should act and how they shouldn't act. I don't really care. you know, they're doing the best that they can with what they know. And they are just me. Because when I see people, right, and let's say someone is being mean to someone, or someone is doing this, or someone is doing that, I was probably one of those people at some point. Okay? I don't think of myself as an angel. I know that I wasn't, and no one is, right? No one is just a perfect, loving, wonderful human being, especially when you have probably come from a dysfunctional family or you don't have that understanding. Unless you're born enlightened, you probably have said something to someone that was mean and outrageous, and you probably did something evil, okay, or menacing at some point in your life. And it's okay to admit that. I can admit it. I've done plenty. Oh my god. When I was a kid, you did not want to mess with me. Okay? I was a menacing child. And that's okay. I accept her. Like I said, like someone, when I said someone made a short of me saying God is everything, God is evil. Yeah, I'll say it again. God is everything. God is menacing. Because God is everything. If manifestation makes everything possible, what explains the things people deeply desire but never manifest even after years of belief and effort? Well, the thing is, okay, well, if they deeply desire it, when you deeply desire something, you you don't desire something you already have, right? How does manifestation works? How does manifestation work? Manifestation works when you align with the timeline in which you already have that thing. Let's say I want a car, a specific car. Let's say a G Wagon, a black one, AMG G63. Okay, very specific. You have to be specific. Okay, let's say it's a 2025 model. The number plate is Priya. How can I get that G Wagon? I have a desire for a G Wagon. Is that enough? If I just sit here and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make loads of effort. I'm gonna think about it all the time. I'm gonna try really, really hard. And I still don't get it. Why? Because I'm here, right? Priya's here with no G Wagon. Like, that's a reality. The G Wagon and Priya, the Priya with the G Wagon is here. And she's trying and she's trying. And she has this desire and it's really, really strong. It's really, really powerful. She can never be here because she has a desire until she merges with the Priya that already has it. The Priya that's like, having a G Wagon is now normal for me. She can't have it. So, people who deeply desire something, who really, really want something, who make such a huge effort, oftentimes they probably won't get it because there's a separation between you and the version of you that already has it. So if you want something, align with the version that already has it. Hi. The boat of life will keep rocking back and forth. We can either enjoy the journey or go on crying about it. Suffering is a part of existing in this world. Focus on what you can make better now. It's very true. The thing is, suffering and pain aren't synonymous. You can be in pain and not suffer. You think these enlightened beings don't see things that could be painful to see? You think people, well, I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. Maybe that, like, for example, in Sikhism, sadhu. A sadhu is someone who's highly spiritual, very powerful, possibly enlightened. They say don't ever mess with a sadhu. Don't, okay? Because it's not going to be good for you. But people do mess with them. And the thing is, the sadhus will never suffer because suffering is a property of the mind. It's a rumination of something. Pain is momentary, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to hit my body. I love you. Okay, let's say something burns you on your hand, right? Pain. If I sit here and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in pain. Ah. I can do that. I can express it. But if I continue to a week after, a year after, oh my god, I was burned. Oh my god, I'm so awful. Or oh my god, I tripped and everybody saw me. Oh my god, 10 years later, oh my god, I tripped. Ah, I remember it every day. That's suffering. Pain would be, oh, I tripped, I hurt myself. Okay, cool, get over it, and then you let it go. Suffering is the inability to let something go. It's the inability to accept. What's your personality type from the 16 personalities? Okay, I am an ENTJ. So that is the. Let me get them up. Honestly, I kind of forget at times. Give me a second. Let me go on Pinterest actually. 16 personality types. Okay, so I'm the protagonist. So that is a ENFJ. A. I think the A one or the T one, I don't know. A charismatic and inspiring leader, able to mesmerize their listeners. I don't hate anything. I just be me. People hate that. That's a story. Is that 100% true? Can you prove that? Is it a fact? Are you in their minds? You are deciding that they hate you or they hate that. Okay, and who cares if they hate that? Let them. When was the last time you got angry and what triggered it? Okay. Okay. I kind of got irritated yesterday at my sister. I had a story in my mind, right? And the belief was I do more than anyone. No one else does more than me. I'm a victim. I'm mad. But then I had to breathe through it and remind myself that Priya, look, this person has been at school, okay? She's tired. She probably doesn't want to come home and do anything. And that's okay. Is it true? Is it 100% true that she never does anything? No. It's always a story. Everything you ever think of is a story. Remind yourself of that. That is going to help you so much. Why am I so cute? I don't know. I was just born this way. To be frank, I got a free time people taking it as an advantage. I know I will, and I can come out of this numb situation. You got this. What do you think about panpsychism? Why do I feel like I've heard of this and I can't remember what that is? Just remind me what it is, please. Let me know about yourself. What would you like to know? Yeah, okay, am I behind? Oh, geez, I'm quite behind. Okay. You don't know if... What God do I follow? There is only one God. There are different ways to God, but there's only God. And God is in everything, so infinite amounts of gods. Appreciation, gratitude. Every day is a blessing, so every day is up. Really is how you look at it. And true. What is your coaching style? What do you help in? I help in many things. I find most problems have basic roots. Are you living in your truth or are you not? When you're not, the solution is living your truth. That's it. I remind people to live in their truth, and often they're not. That's why they need coaching. Sometimes they can't find their way back to the truth. Well, that's why I'm there. You know? Do I believe in science? I believe, yeah. Science is wonderful. But science isn't everything, is what I'm gonna say. Don't put so much emphasis on it, you know? What are we talking about today? Loads of things. Hard times is what builds greatness, so it can be seen as good times if you shift mindset to challenge. Things can happen out of control though. Random attack, car crash, so those would be a test. The thing is, look, they seem random to you, but they're not. They're divinely ordained. Everything is divinely orchestrated. When you relinquish control and you say, God, tera kiya meetha lage, okay? That's something they say in Sikhism. Your deeds seem sweet to me. Whatever you do is sweet to me. Put me in a car crash. Make me break a leg. Make me do this. Let my partner cheer me. It seems sweet to me. But you did it, God, and I trust you. Because remember, wait, where's my pen? Remember. Okay. Look. This is the ego. The ego's like, no, why did I get attacked? Why did this happen to me? Why did my partner leave me? Why did they divorce me? Why did they cheat on me? Why did my mom hit me? Why did it, you know? But then if you just surrender, what you do is you create holes, right, in the ego. And then you're more at one with God. And God is everything. You know? Hey viewers, don't forget you can listen to ask. Is that I'm Godly? God and me 013? No, oh my god. Okay. So funny. Okay, if one keeps thinking about manifestation, will they be unhappy with their current situation? If one keeps thinking about manifestations, would they be unhappy with current situations? Well, the thing is, look, if you want to manifest something, you have to act as if it's already done, because it is done. If you want it, there's a reason you want it. You have a desire because a version of you in a different timeline that exists right now has it. Hence why you feel drawn to it. So what you do is you rest in the knowing that I already have it, because a timeline in which you have it already exists. So then you wouldn't continue talking about it. It's like this pen. I don't keep thinking about a pen because right now I have it. If I didn't have it, I would probably think, oh, I really need a marker pen. I really need a marker pen. I really need a marker pen, because I don't have it. Does that make sense? If one, okay, stay positive, stay focused. YouTube is you can be in pain, but not for a beautiful point. Thank you. Not exactly, God. What are your thoughts on using this? Using the power of manifestation for material things seems wrong to me, and a misuse of power. Okay, interesting. What is right and what is wrong? Everything is neutral. If you think it's wrong, it's because you've labeled it as such. And misuse of power, who's to say it's a misuse of power? Who's labeling it as that? Everything is. You can't label things. God doesn't label things. Labeling is like an egoic thing, it's a mind thing. Because, for example, I can manifest loads of money so that I can help people, so that I can go and create a self-defense school in a impoverished, well, I don't want to label any country as impoverished, but maybe in a country where young girls and boys need to learn self-defense. Would that be a misuse of power? Nothing is certain. Nothing is written in stone in life. Nothing. Other than the truth. Because, look, the truth is the only thing that is permanent. The truth is the only thing that is. The truth can only be that which is unchanging and permanent. And the only thing that is unchanging and permanent is God. Everything other than that isn't, you know? What is karma? Okay, so, I saw this post about karma. And karma are just the things you do. People have used karma as in it's a bad thing, but it's just what you do. What are you doing? It's another way, because it's karma and something else. Let me show you. let me tell you, there was this post that I really like. There's this lady on Instagram that I follow that if you're into things like karma, and even she explains um Kama Sutra, the Vedas, Hinduism, things like that, um, really well. She explained karma. What's her name? Okay, wait. This is her. Her name is Shivo Hampath. Shivo Hampath. Okay, that's the karma. Where's your karma? The Dharma. When men. The mastery of the. Okay. Did she remove it? Yeah, but she said there was karma, and there's another thing, which is the consequence of your action. So what it is, karma is cause and effect. Karma is the cause, and another word that I can't seem to recall, which is usually forgotten, is the effect. So what are you doing? Here are the effects. That's it. It was an example to show one's ambition. Show how one's ambition to manifest something will always collate with being unhappy. So, I'm giving you all my positive energy. It's okay, you don't need to give it to me. I have plenty. You keep it. As opposed to, say, manifest having multiple wives, for example, all the esoteric, all material centered us. So, I fear to manifest. Just imagine. To manifest materials, no equation. In Andaman and I know Andaman and Nicobar. There's Sentinelese tribe who are isolated from the world and have no idea about society. In your opinion, how do you think they perceive God, or do they even perceive God? Of course they must do. They are far more intelligent than we are. Because they're connected to nature, and they're not connected to distractions like we are. We have so many distractions that we are taken away from our God self. Because think about it. If you just give a human being TV, films, clubs, music, food, gossip, social media, chit chat, why would that person go searching for God? It's not oftentimes. It's usually either through immense suffering that one gets on that path. And then also they say it's the kirpa of God, it's God's grace that helps you get on that path. You pick up where you left off in your past life. If you're here right now having these conversations with me, then in your past life, you've built up your level of awareness for you to be here engaging in this conversation and to still continue to be here. There is a part of you that senses the truth. That is why you're here. Otherwise, you'd be elsewhere. You wouldn't even make it here. You'd see me and you'd be like, oh, what is she talking about? And then you'd leave. But the fact that you're sticking around and you're engaging and you're asking questions, it says a lot. Your soul it's divinely orchestrated that you're here listening to this, listening to me, engaging with someone like me. And vice versa. So, do they perceive God? Yeah, they must do, of course. For sure. Is karma a godly act? Karma is just what you do. It's a cause. Hey, Ria. My name is Priya. I want to improve my communication skills. Give me such tips. Okay. I think someone asked me this last time as well. Write more. That will help you. Write about anything, whatever you want. Describe a vase. Describe yourself. Anything. Journal. Describe your day. Whatever, That, and then speak from your root. Okay, your root is here, right? Speak like I that's where I speak from. Look, watch. I want to try to speak from my throat. Okay, hi. I'm speaking from my throat right now. Okay. I'm trying to speak from my throat. That's me speaking from my throat. But this is me speaking from my womb. You see? I'm fully embodied and grounded. And that makes communication naturally easier, better, more effective. able to mesmerize people. um, you're a gifted teacher, and I agree with much of your teaching. You believe there are infinite paths to God. I believe there is one path to the Father. Still, love is the greatest, and tolerance. That's okay. That's a belief that you have, and that's cool. As long as you're on that path, that I'm happy for you. You know, just look. I don't like to tell people what to do, but it's just a thing, you know. We don't need to convince other people to be on the same path. Like, for example, I share what I think here, and if people come in here that don't agree with me, that's okay. I would ask you to leave. As in, like, yeah, if you disagree vehemently with everything that I'm saying, then just leave. Why are you here? It's just a waste of my time. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. You either get it or you don't get it. And if you kind of get it and you need help, I can help you. But I'm not here to, like, you know. So yeah, what is life like as you? Oh, what a juicy question. Ah, okay. Oh God, okay. Life as me is, it's fine. It's uh oh, part of me is like, do I want to say everything? Do I want nazar? But I don't believe in nazar, you know? Everybody is just me. How can I give myself nazar? I'm divinely protected. So overwhelmed, like I'm overwhelmed with the presence of God. That's what I'd say. So I just feel like my heart gets bigger and bigger, like more open and able to receive and to give and able to feel, you know, more. Um, it's words can't explain what it's like to be me. What is it like to be you? You're giving with your heart, full heart. Just take. Okay. Bad luck, man. To state what you did to her. Things opened up in the second of my head. See, Tora, the if I say no, I'm gonna be disappointed. Why are you putting your sense of joy in my hands? Why are you giving me so much control? Is that the tribe who shot that Christian missionary with arrows who tried to get on that island? Oh, jeez. I wouldn't even repeat what you wrote. Maybe. Wait, what did he actually say? Oh. What is God? God is everything. God is everyone and everything. I heard they were a violent tribe. It's a way to objectify them. I would be violent too if I was them. I'd want to be known as a violent tribe so you guys can't come in and make me live like you, because the real people who are violent are people who try to go and change them, which has been happening for so many years, right? Your way is not okay. You're uncivilized. You're a tribe. You don't know anything. Let us come in. Let us civilize you. Yet those people are the most uncivilized. Why don't you just mind your own business? You know? I am Indian, yes. In this lifetime. Thanks, Artemisia. Everything is done through manifestation. Ultimately, it's our thoughts only which create reality. Will is what drives the world. Only thing can do is you can make things happen faster without physical effort. Yeah. Just give me a second. I'm just checking something, sorry. Um. mm, 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 mm. You know, it's so funny. It's now that I'm not paying attention, as in like I'm not at that part where everyone's talking. It just feels like I'm not even live. Does that make sense? Um, it kind of feels like I'm just talking to myself, which I guess I am if you really think about it. Okay, let me see what everybody's saying. Okay, what would you go back? Would you go 1,000 years to the future or 1,000 years back into the past? Just a heads up, 1,000 years into the past, the life mortality was in 20s. I mean, the present and the future exist right now, and there are many um timelines that I could go into where loads of things existed, right? Because okay, think about it this way. It's gonna get wild, okay? I need you to open your ability to um be a contain try to be an expansive container, which is your true nature of the things that are possible. So, right now, you believe in a certain his story, okay? His story, right? His story written by men. You believe in a certain history. That history, his story, is not the truth, right? It's not what actually happened. It is um just what you were told happened. So what actually happened and what you're told is happened is very different. And so there are loads of different versions of the past from different people who had different experiences. So if I were to go back in the past 1,000 years, it would be who am I? Who? What identity am I taking on? Who am I? Whose eyes am I seeing through? And that would dictate how I would be, you know? And this whole like they only live till 20, um, that's just one story. That's not, I'm sure people didn't. I'm sure other things happened. Everything happened, you know? Like, it's a whole thing. You know, I got told apparently you just never get a straight answer with me, and it's true. You don't. I don't think in straightforward ways. Um, I sometimes share with suffering people this video about high resolution image of Andromeda galaxy that gives a people some change in perspective, pull us out insignificant lives on this speck of dust Earth. That image is amazing. You're gonna have to send it to me. You know, it's it's a wonderful way of helping people zoom out. You know, I guess that's what I try to do. I get them to zoom out from their ego and go up and see the truth, because the truth feels like it's up here sometimes, and we're here, right? The mind is here, and it's about becoming one with the truth and living with the truth, and then everything is possible. Then you live in an expansive way. That's why it feels like some people just can have it all. um Willis Wallace, we are the watcher of the play, we are the actors and the ones who are staging the props. Exactly. Chef's kiss, yes. You touched on a good point then about different cultures being branded as savages. The amount of wisdom we must have lost due to the conquering of tribes and lands is unthinkable. It is so unthinkable. You know, we're on the wrong side. So the history that we get told is probably the history of colonialists, okay? Right? We learn in school. I live in England. Colonial, not that I want to label people, but that's the source of it, right? Colonial, why can I not say it though? Colonialists, right? People who were savages themselves are telling me the history. And they're gonna always paint themselves as the wonderful people, and everybody else is a savage. That's why it can be justified to go take over their country, to ravage them, and to act like an animal, which is fine. Whatever. I'm not judging you. It is what it is, you know. And yeah, so we only ever hear from the savages themselves. You know, it's funny. And yeah, they're far. Honestly, we are not intelligent. In the West, we think we're all that. We are not all that at all. See you, Rebov. Take care. Thank you for being here. Yes, we are totally on the wrong side, and the way they teach about British history in British schools is so wrong. Ah, yeah. Oh, does Tor wanna? You wanna email me? If you need my email, I can give you. Wait, let me go on YouTube Live and I'll put my email in. Okay. Boom.
Rudy,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, okay, he's twerking now. You want to say hi? Okay. Big up Jade. He started twerking. It's so funny. In Korea, it's so funny in British history how they always talk about the Germans and how we did this and we were the heroes and ah. But I mean, it just sums up history in general. In Korean, there's something called inyon. If two people cross each other's and their clothes accidentally brush, it means they had something in past life. Do you believe in this? If you believe it, then it's true. There is no objective reality. There is only what you believe to be true, and then it's true. Like I said, let's bring it back to what I started with, right? Circle moment. There was a lady, right, which is in the movie in Split, and I know this is probably true, that she was blind for many years. And then she had different personalities, and one of her personalities was no longer blind because it didn't believe that it was blind. So if you believe that, then it's true. If I choose to believe that, then it will be true, right? At least Germany owns up to their bad history and teaches it in a correct way to German students. I love that. I didn't know that. What's your favorite food? Are you vegan? I am not vegan, no. Um, what's my favorite food? I used to put a lot of emphasis on food. I don't really, I like to eat now most of the time for nutrition, not really the taste. It's lust, right? It happens. I get lusty over food sometimes, but decreasingly less so. So I'm not a wild person over food. It's okay. It's cool. Here I am labeling myself as something. I don't want to limit myself. Yeah, sure. I don't really have favorite food. I like healthy things. Uh, Big up Jason. Were you a princess in your past life because you have Rani as your name? No, probably not a princess. I'd like to think something maybe like a monk, maybe someone living a sannyasi, maybe, someone living alone, just meditating. Just took a screenshot of your email. Okay, perfect. How do you perceive luck? I think you either believe that you are lucky or you believe that you're not. you know? And that's how you perceive it in your life. If you know you have it, then you look for it. You see it everywhere. If you see a lack of it, a lack of it will present itself. So we all believe that we probably know you in our past life because this world randomly brought us into your live video. Exactly. Well, like I said, there's nothing random. Nothing is random. Because how can anything be random if there is no objective reality? Nothing outside of what you can observe exists. Therefore, everything that you are observing is it's a co-play, right? It's a co-play. It's like you observe it and then it appears. It's the thing you look for, right? The luck thing I was just talking about. If I believe I'm lucky, I will see luck everywhere because I'm looking for it. I'm like, I'm lucky, yes. But if I believe I'm unlucky, I'm looking for it. See? I told you I was unlucky. See? Told you. See? I told you I was unlucky. Because there is no objective reality. So when it comes to randomly, there is nothing random, okay? Um so yeah, of course, it's maybe you knew me in my past life, in our past lives, or it could just be your consciousness wanting to hear these things so that you can progress in a certain way, on a certain path. You miss you my bindi. My cousin's girlfriend from London, she says the natives to England who's the before Germans went, "Oh, like good if you will." They probably were. If I had a kid, what would I name the child? mm, 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 mm. What would I name my child? I think if it was a girl, rather. A boy, ah, Kirtan. Kirtan. You would pronounce it Kirtan, but it's Kirtan? Yeah. You believe I'm your girlfriend, that's my new reality. That's so funny. You're getting the hang of it, you know, you're getting the hang of it. History, the British never learn from it, the Russians never make it, the Irish never forget it, the Americans would never understand it. That's funny. The Russians never make it, the Irish never forget. History is not really, it's not set in stone. If we existed before this life, why do we have no memory of it? And how can we be sure that our current personality choices and experiences aren't completely new? Well, you do have a memory of it. You just haven't been able to access it. People can access it. It's called the Akashic Records. There's a record of everything that's ever happened that exists within the Akashic Records, which is stored in your subconscious. So you can, it's about training your subconscious, you know, to get there. I haven't personally done it yet. I'm sure I probably will. But yeah, there's a record of everything. If a perceived lucky situation leads to unlucky situation, how do you determine what is good luck or bad luck? Well, the thing is, there is no objective good luck or bad luck. It's just what you label it as such. Let me tell you a story, actually. I wrote a book, okay, and that story is in my book. So the story is about this guy. He is a Chinese farmer, I believe, and you know, he has a horse, and his horse runs away. The villagers come to him and they say, "Oh, what bad luck, your horse ran away." And he says, I can't remember what he says, but it's something very neutral. It's like, okay. And then the next day the horse comes back with more wild horses, and the villagers come and say, "Oh, how lucky you are, he's come back with more horses." And then the guy says, "Okay." And then one day his son goes riding on a horse, right? And then one of the wild horse, I believe it's the wild horse. Why does it matter? He falls and he breaks his leg. So then the villagers come and they say, "Oh no, what bad luck! Your son's broken his leg." The day after, war breaks out. So you know, the king says everybody who can fight has to go to war. The soldiers come to his house. They see that his son is injured, so his son doesn't have to go to war. So his son won't die. And then the villagers come over and they say, "Oh, how lucky you are. Your son doesn't have to go to war. We have to send ours to war." You see? So it's how you perceive it. There is no objective anything. I think Lil Osho would be a good name for a kid. That's funny, Lil Osho. I guess he'd definitely have to live up to that name, and I'm sure he would, you know? Yeah, I guess it would be a he. What's your favorite? I don't use my future because I'm in a state that cannot be described. Okay, I reckon most places it's a good people, and then government. It's pretty crazy though how people wear this history of their ancestors. Like I get it, it's your bloodline, but it's over the top, black and white. Person today will say we conquered. Who's we while they paint tanks? Had nothing to do with these things, but they think they sit on a high horse for stealing. Lol. What would I say to this? I would say let them be. Cool. Second of all, they're attaching themselves to an identity. I'm white. My ancestors did so and so. Yay! You know? It's futile. How's that benefiting you? To be one with God, to understand that we're all one, to not really identify as anything other than consciousness is the way forward. You know? This is the story I had in mind, wanting to hear you take on it with describing the situation. Why do we sleep? The body needs to rest. Perception is everything. You know what I mean, though? It's very common here in New Zealand, while New Zealand English racists, a lot of them know. Let them. The thing is, when people are things like sexist or racist or ageist or whatever it is, it's a lack of intelligence, frankly. That's it. Are you gonna argue with the wall? Are you gonna try to convince them otherwise? Perhaps we sleep to prepare for the big sleep. The big sleep, as in death? Is that what you're talking about? No, sleep is just for the body so that the body can regenerate. But did you know that if you are someone who meditates a lot, you need less sleep? Like 2-3 hours and you're good. Do you ever think that gravity is so magical, like an imaginary force that roots things to earth, and then there's life as a result of gravity? Everything is magical if you think about it. I remember I would look at DVDs, and I would just think, wow, they're so fascinating. And see you, Greg. Thank you so much for joining. You have a beautiful rest of your day too. Do you attach yourself to an identity like Hindu or Buddhist? I identify myself as a mystic, but take value from both Hindu and Buddhism. Okay, love that. I don't attach myself to any identity. Nope. Nope. I take a lot from Sikhism and Hinduism and everything. I recognize the truth. So wherever the truth is, I love it. Anywhere where there's a reverence of God, a remembrance of God, I'm there with you. You're on, that's the truth. Just gotta let them be. That's it, lol. Exactly. Your time is far too precious to waste on trying to think about how others could be better. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. When one meditates, one wouldn't know if they doze off while meditating. Of course you would. You would know. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell when it's like, it's when your body gets really, 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 really relaxed. Is Priyarani an identity? I guess it is. Yeah, Priyarani is an identity that I've, that helps people to get who I am, I guess, in this line of work. But it's not something that I'm steadfast with, I don't walk around like, I'm Priyarani, woo. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to go now. I have things to do. But it's been such a pleasure. I've enjoyed myself. And Karthik, you keep asking me about my favorite food. What is this? There are far more interesting things to ask me. Okay? But yes, thank you so much for being here. Take care. Adios. No worries. I don't have a favorite food. Pinya. Let's just say pinya. What? No more philosophy. No, but I'll be back. I'll be back. So put your notifications on. And I did put my email address if anybody wants to have one-on-one coaching with me. So just email me. Take care. Remember, your perception is everything. You're loved. All you have is this moment.